Alrighty. Close that. Okay. Hello and welcome everyone to the contributor comms or upstream marketing team meeting for, what is this, February 18th, 2022. As you all hopefully know, we are a part of the overall Kubernetes project, which is part of the CNCF, and we are governed by a code of conduct, which essentially adds up to be respectful of one another and be excellent to each other. We have a notes doc, which hopefully everyone is in. I see a lot of people in it. I'll put it in the chat as well so that it's easily accessible. And I suppose let's get started. I feel like I missed something there, but whatever.
You're all good. I'm going to point out my big win for the week, just because. So Wednesday, I saw that the Docker Shim FAQ, like the one we wrote when all the badness happened, and everybody jumped in to work on, and yeah, that got marked out. Yeah, that got marked outdated by our lovely docs bots. I don't know what they're called. Ray, maybe you know which bot is that does that, but basically it was like I was working on an issue and I was like, go to the FAQ, and I was like, let me make sure I have the right link, and oh my god, it's outdated. And I realized that like Wednesday afternoon. So I think yesterday morning, Bob, myself, Tim, we all kind of dived in and just made it happen. A new update is now out there. So within 24 hours of noticing, there was a new update. Wow. So that no longer outdated document, the shortcut link, caves.io/dockershim has been updated as well. Yeah, everything just happened. And that, I think, is like, as far as like crisis comms goes, like that's where we shine, kind of thing. Like we can jump in and be like, whoa, that's a big problem, and save stuff from like potential FUD, because that's literally what I labeled it. It was a FUD machine at that point. Wait, what do you mean it's outdated? Does that mean they're keeping it? Like I could already see it, right? Like, so there you go. All done.
Nice quick response.
It had been marked outdated, I think, for a little bit longer than I would be comfortable with, to be honest with you, right? Like,
yeah, but as soon as you noticed,
right, going forward, I'm almost thinking, right, like, should we need to update that again in the future, right? Like, it needs to be very concise, because that new update would be like everything's gone, like you can't use it anymore. So sorry.
And people are going to be upgrading to that for years to come, I'm sure.
Yes. So that document needs to somehow stay fresh no matter what, and be iterated on as we go. It's going to be interesting.
Doc alert. This has now been marked as outdated by the bot. You better fix it. Maybe that needs to be a thing.
Yeah. I mean, because it, like, I'm writing the 122 blog for AWS Kubernetes service. So, right, like, think about that. In 6 months from now, someone's going to come to that blog, or however many months it is, and be like, okay, cool. But then a year, you know, it might take somebody a year to get there, and it's going to be marked outdated in a year. So
yeah, which would be bad for them to find when they need it.
Right. So,
or if there's some tag we can put on it to make the bot hold off on that.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of thinking. We could exclude it.
I mean, I was thinking, let's write some code to exclude it. Let's just bump the date. Let's just do this. But both Bob and Tim said they would rather have an updated blog, because there were resources that we had created since then. And since it was a blog, it would be better to update it than to take old thing and just keep it newer and keep bumping it along.
Fair enough.
So yeah, currently that's the plan. So a year from now, we'll be back here.
Woo. Remember to talk about this again in a year.
Well, a year from last week's meeting, at the very least. So anyways, I'm going to put in a reminder myself for 2023, February 1st. So yeah.
Go ahead and put it on the calendar.
Yep.
Alrighty then. Any other updates, big wins that people want to talk about?
We got tweets out this week.
We did get tweets out this week. I was thinking that should be.
We got people to the community meeting, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good one to put on here. Community meeting was a big success.
I think it was.
Apologies for my typing. We hope to drive people to the meeting through our tweets. Who was that again from last meeting? Who was focusing on that?
Or
no, from our group.
Who was tweeting? Oh,
that was Avinash.
I think so, right?
Yes, it was Avinash.
Kudos to Avinash.
Yeah.
Great work.
Seriously, that's.
Did you
like,
get to?
You had me on point, right? Like, oh, there's a tweet here ready. Wait. Oh, it's for the community meeting. Should I check? Yes. Okay. Hold until Thursday a.m. Great job. Seriously, right? Like, that was just nicely, smoothly handled the whole time.
Awesome. And the next one will be in a month, right? So.
Yeah, a month from yesterday.
We'll do it all again. I was also going to ask, did anyone have a chance to attend the community meeting and how was it? Because I had meetings over top and didn't get to go.
I attended. I was there for moral support. It went very, very well, I thought. There was even a derailing discussion that Nigel handled kind of beautifully. And we were all kind of like on pins and needles about ready to jump in if we needed to. But it was good. Overall, we had a great discussion, an in-depth discussion, which is good to have in a community meeting for once. Like actual discussion. We hadn't had that in a while. And yeah, I don't know if it was live streamed or not. We need to go back. I need to go back and look just to see if that automation is still working, but I thought it was good.
Saw that there was a note in the chat that they needed to implement hand raising next time with so many people.
Yes, like that was something that Paris brought up early on. I think she's going to join us here shortly anyway. But yeah, like the passcode was
so we're going to get a lot done today.
Yeah, exactly. The passcode was built into the meeting invite, which is kind of a no-no for the community meeting, right? Like the idea is you go into the doc, you get the link, you see the passcode. That way, if you have access to the doc and you can get the link, you can also get the passcode. We didn't have any trolls jump in that I saw. It's quite possible Paris got to them before I did, but yes, we had to do very stringent troll patrol because we've had Zoom bombing issues in the past, and it was pretty much just if you didn't put in a pass, you just went straight into the meeting, no passcode required, which is fine if that continues to work. But yeah, I was a little like Paris put me on super alert for trolls. So I was scanning the whole time.
Well, I'm glad it went well.
It did go well. I would say like troll patrol in the future, we're gonna have to figure that out. But I can work with Laura on that if need be.
And we'll start promoting that one again.
Yeah, whenever we got a host and everything ready to go, we should just tweet it out.
Excellent. Is there anything that we need to do there to plan for this ongoing basis? How do we want to handle this process?
You know, I would love to have some kind of calendar, right? It could be a spreadsheet with dates. That's fine. But it's like week 1 of the year, week 2 of the year, week 3 of the year, QCon EU week, right? Like certain things should be like called out, like community meetings, that kind of thing, where we have, you know, things we know we have to tweet about or know we have to do social media for. That way we can get super creative, right? Like I know I have a Canva account, you know, so like I can make I can make an animation for the community meeting tweet and include that next time, kind of deal. So yeah, I think we need some kind of like calendaring spreadsheety kind of database of things that we need to tweet about or blog about or anything about. Yes, Paris, I think you were the impetus behind this, by the way.
I was like, damn. I was like, what? Go you all.
We were just talking about the community meeting, and I was like, Paris is going to be here in a minute, and I'm sure she'll have comments, but we do need to be like, and Caslin mentioned, should we have something that keeps us like on track with a schedule of tweets and stuff? And I'm like, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know what that looks like though.
Yeah.
This is where I'm like, there are tools out there that do this stuff, y'all.
Right. Like I know,
you know what I mean? I'm just like,
Buffer has a calendaring tool now, and it's kind of like, all right, well, if we're just going to Twitter.
What about those great new program management tools from GitHub?
I mean, maybe if it works, right?
GitHub, by the way, for anyone not aware of this, is adding some like program management tools. And since we've been talking about for the last several meetings how GitHub is not a very good project management tool, this is a joke, but also possibly a useful thing.
Yeah, like it's funny. I think it was last Friday afternoon they released some board update thingy for project management, and I was like, hey, Caslin, look.
Yeah. After we had just been talking about it in the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely need to get on that for next month. Should we go ahead and ask if anyone wants to be assigned to watch that for the next month and make sure we're on top of it? Anyone want to pick that up? Avinash did it last time. You're welcome to take it again, but
I can take it up if Avinash is not there, but I'll message
you get
him
first
about
dibs,
this.
Avinash.
Yeah, he is not in the meeting, so I'll reach out to him obviously because we did it last time.
Oh, I thought he was. I guess he's not. Sad.
No,
Yeah, he's not in the meeting, so yeah, I'll reach out to him after the meeting.
Okay. Well, thank you, Avinash, in your absence.
So Paris, how do you think the community meeting went?
that was great. I was stoked. This proves that calendars work. This proves that that communication works.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, I just unleashed like an hour before the community meeting. I mean, we sent the email to 60,000 people or 6,000. I added a zero there. Yeah, no, 6,000 people got the email an hour before the event. That's what it said, top of the hour. I went on like sort of a Slack tirade, hit probably 20,000 eyeballs at least. So I feel like that's the kind of reach that we should try to do for like every event, you know?
Can somebody write down that Paris did that? Because that happened, because I think that's vital for future events.
Yeah.
We had like Tim Hawken there, like asking questions. That's amazing, right?
Yep. Yeah. I thought it was awesome. I thought the engagement was great. I thought the content of the event was good. Yeah. And it would be good if, yeah, I think Nigel's working on a blog post, like maybe every time the host or someone from this
Yes.
crew
That's right,
just
we did
does like a
volunteer.
summary, yeah, some kind of summary post or something, and maybe it goes on kates.dev. So just to complete the life cycle, I guess that's kind of like the completion of the thing at the end.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, kudos to literally everybody that helped with that event. So I was really, really happy. So
Yeah.
We
Awesome.
discussed last week how we wanted to help enable a blog post to be written for each of the community meetings. So I added that as a note for whoever picks that up next time. It's Devin or Avinash or someone else in the future. We want to continue making sure that the host is asked to write a blog post. We asked Laura, I think already, to add that to the guidebook. Yeah. And we want to make sure that that happens and enable it as reviewers or however we need to help out with that.
awesome. That's a really good idea.
And Paris sent a meeting invite to 6,000 people shortly before the meeting.
And the thing is, I also sent it from contributor at Kubernetes, so it looks very official. And the problem is we don't and can't give up that access because it's tied to a few trusted accounts. And Bob and I are trying to think of,
I think I have access to that, don't I?
I don't know. I think you might have access to one of the things that uses contributor apps.
Right. Yeah.
So that might be why it's in your head because it's a username.
Mhm.
But otherwise, yeah, we have to figure this out. Now that we have one password too, we feel a little bit more confident giving up some of the keys to the cars, that being one of them. But yeah, like that would be really great. Like that's what I kind of had envisioned before with this group, with like y'all owning that key, and that would be like the official comms of this group, because it makes sense, because like everything you're doing is upstream contributors, and that's literally the title of the email. So we need, I'm gonna still put this in the back of my head on how and who we can give access to from this group. Maybe it's the edit, like, and now that we don't have that role, I think, of editor anymore, because y'all are like a council, I think that was maybe figure out what role here has that key. Again, stuff to think about, right? Or stuff to build into roles or something, you know.
Okay, so we should decide how to do that handoff and who would own that within our group.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we need to figure out, like Bob and I need to figure out how to like either maybe untie some of the trusted stuff from that email, and then you know, maybe it would be less risk, or you know, insert one of the other things here, like I said, or we just very much trust someone in this group, like, you know, with the highest regards or something. So TBD, I'll get back to y'all on how we can figure that out. But yeah, it would be really cool if y'all started using that email, so that because I feel like the engagement would go up on some of the things that you're working on. So yeah, TBD. Let me work that out with Bob. Let me have a working session with him.
I want to make sure that we keep an eye on that. Do you want to own making sure that we're updated on that, or would you like someone from this group to be assigned to check in on this?
Let's do both.
Would anyone like to work with Paris to make sure that we get this contributor email account handed off?
Chris, why don't we work together in case
Yeah.
in case you do Yeah, in
Mhm.
case you do have access or whatever it is, let's figure it out. So, yeah, and then I will also, like I said, I'll update you too, Chris, after I talk about, so
Cool. It works.
awesome.
Sounds good. Awesome. Oh gosh, I thought of something else while we were talking about all of that, and I don't remember what it was.
That's why you should write it down. Notes.
I was writing down the other notes.
Can someone
Um,
jump into Caslin's brain and remember stuff for her, please? Thank you.
yes, thank you.
I have added all this in project board so we can keep a track.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
The more we write it down, the more likely it is to happen.
Mhm. That's what I hear.
All right, should we move on to other updates and big wins? Anyone else have anything they've been working on this week that because I know we had some action items last week. Anything else that we want to update on there? I know there was that issue open with Bob to remove the old editorial board. Did that get done?
I think it's gone.
Yeah, last
think-
meeting we discussed about.
So that's an
yeah, I
update,
think-
big win.
Yeah. But yeah. Like
Yeah, yes.
deprecating a board is good.
No, it's not gone. I closed
Oh.
that 7 days ago, but it's still there. So let me
Oh.
ping Bob.
Boo.
Well, it's an update.
Yeah.
Editorial board deprecation. Need to sync back with Bob on that? Is that the action?
Yeah.
And I guess you're going to do that since you're already owning that.
Yeah.
I don't want
I
to put
just
too much on your
remind
plate.
Just a reminder message to him. That's it. I think he will do it.
Cool. Noted. Any other updates from tasks from last week? Checking the list.
I have an idea for a new task.
Okay, we can move on to that for now.
And we've kind of already batted it around in this meeting, right? Like instead of a calendar, what if we just had a doc?
Oh, there's
Right?
several new items in here, but I'll add this one while we're talking about it.
Yeah, like at the very least, we can be like the week before the community meeting, the day of the community, the day before, that kind of thing, right? Like we can say things like that. And we can also have, archived tweets of various length and size and shape that can be, reused and referenced and updated and, committed back into the doc kind of thing. So I was just thinking about that for, just the contributor at kubernetes.io account. And it made me realize that might be better than a calendar for now, since it's easier for us to share something in GitHub. I don't know.
So what are you thinking here? An umbrella issue?
Just like a straight up doc, right? Like almost like a
okay.
communications, like to-do checklist kind of thing.
Because we've been discussing the umbrella issue tied to an external document method of handling long form
and that would be fine
tasks, which is one option. Tools for handling long form tasks.
Yeah, I'm thinking like spreadsheet of the year.
Right.
And because like thinking from like the next 6 to 12 months, and then like row 1 annual reports, row 2 community meeting, row 3 contributor summit, row 4 like it has all of your major events and then your major themes, and then and then you can have like a column for like tweet links from the past, who's doing what, sort of like key dates, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that could help you keep organized a little bit too. Because the one thing that I see is that a lot of this stuff needs to go quick, right? Like for instance, like Nigel needed to get that email out real quick with with KDev, right?
Yeah.
And we're human and nobody's like, you know, monitoring the community repo. I am, but don't tell anybody. But you know, that's why I saw it and I'm thinking, okay, if contributor comms doesn't grab it, I'll grab it, like, which is fine. But I'm thinking in my head, like, is this really valuable to like file issues for stuff like this? Because it's very much like needs to go like ASAP. But we already kind of knew that like that was a part of the package with the community meeting. We already knew that we needed to send out an email to someone at some time, right? Like, so you already have all of these like recipes. So then it would have been like y'all like keeping up on Nigel with hey, you know what I mean? And not necessarily oh, Nigel sent us an issue. You know what I mean? It's more of like y'all taking the kind of the control and the power of the communication. And not necessarily like you know, the host or something like that. So yeah, I think some kind of doc insert, like, and that's the thing, like whatever y'all are comfortable with, because y'all work together, right? Whether it's a spreadsheet, doc, whatever, like that, I'm just saying maybe organize in a way where it's like by event, by theme, because like one of the themes is we have to help SIG, so you do like SIG profiles and like, you know, helping them out with like their help wanted, stuff like that, right? So like that's like a theme. But if you could do that kind of thing, like, you know, and then you could also like Gantt chart out the themes too, like, you know, once a quarter do one SIG profile, whatever it is, right? So like you all could like set up this, like, it's almost like maybe you need a project manager role here.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. We talked, I think it was 2 meetings ago. I mentioned I used to be certified in Microsoft, like project, like 2009.
Don't tell anybody back when. Yeah. Don't,
so like you say Gantt chart, and I'm like, well, it's funny we mentioned something like that.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then,
I think that would be really beautiful, because I think there's so much going on all of the time with this crew that like, that's why I'm like, yeah, we got to get that like on paper, like to show like all the stuff, you know what I mean? Because y'all have
I'm gonna just
balls.
tweet out from my personal account, any project managers out there that want to get involved in an upstream project,
do it.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Or anybody on the line right now.
Yeah,
I mean, that sounded fun to anybody here, that's the kind of, I think, one of the cool next steps that we could do.
I feel like that's kind of what I'm starting to pick up here with these meetings and leading some of this stuff. So in the meantime, while we don't have someone who knows the project management tools and stuff, I mean, I could pick up some of that at least for now.
Hell yeah. Excuse my language.
To fill the gap.
Heck yeah.
We are trying there's a couple of thoughts that I had on this also that I wanted to talk about. One approach that we're trying for long form issues like evergreen tweets is we recently created an umbrella issue that's tied to a spreadsheet, which has different tabs for different types of evergreen initiatives. So like there's one for like release team or something like that. And one for, we wanted to start a series on bots in Kubernetes, ProwBot, how to use ProwBot. So we're trying that out, but I actually almost forgot that existed. So I think we need some kind of process here to make sure that we keep that up to date, or I just need to own that better.
Yeah, I update that every week with any
awesome.
goes out. I update it.
Nice.
For you, nice.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's let me just.
We should remind people in this meeting probably that exists regularly, because if new folks come into this meeting and they're looking for some place to start, hello, anyone new who is in this meeting who would like a place to start, we have a doc of tweets, topics that need tweets at any given time, which also outlines the instructions for how you would create a tweet and where to put it, at least a little bit. So We should grab that link and put it in the chat or something.
I
Oh,
put it in
awesome.
the doc.
Put it in the doc. That's what I'm talking
How about
about.
on top of it? Awesome. So that link is in our notes. Cool. All right, so that's one way we're trying to handle that, and that's based on the way that I've been handling KubeCon for the last year, is I've been creating a spreadsheet of here are the tweets that we need to have and like assigning those out to people because we have to create so many tweets for KubeCon. So we're trying out that method of managing this stuff, but there may be other ways.
Never underestimate the power of a spreadsheet.
Spreadsheets are very
Dead
powerful.
serious, y'all. Like, I have this business off to the side here that I run by myself, right? And like, it got more successful the second I started tracking things in a spreadsheet. It was amazing.
When you have to put thought into tracking things,
Mhm.
that's the key. So let's talk about some of the other items in new items since we're already here. Ray, you had something.
Yeah, so just to give some background, the Kubernetes project hasn't had a third-party security audit since 2019, and we're starting one soon. So want to write a blog post on that. We're starting tentatively in May, so want to get it out probably in March, just to give contributors a heads up that this audit's going on, and that we also might ask for some subject matter experts to speak with our InfoSec security vendor. So also plan to announce this as part of the March contributor meeting as well. As one of the announcements.
That is good.
Yeah, so I'll write that up.
Your ask here is for
well,
shepherding of the blog post?
Yeah, shepherding blog post. Also possibly, don't know if it's something that we could tweet out, like, hey, a security audit's coming out later this year. We're starting in when 124 is actually released, and a little bit after that, actually.
So do we want to announce that we're starting the security audit?
What I would like to do, just to like, we are conducting one, and this is what's in scope, which is public knowledge. It's in GitHub.
Okay.
And then
like, my concern
Yeah.
is that all of a sudden InfoSec Twitter wakes up and says, yes, we'd love to help. And you have like 10,000 new requests coming in to help.
Yeah. Yeah, because
We got to be very specific with the language, right?
Okay.
Like it's in progress, being done by, and like
Exactly. That's actually that's exactly what I want to do. Primarily also like the vendor asked if they can like promote it, and I sort of thought that the origin of it should come from our project before a vendor. And that's why I want to actually write this blog and
Perfect.
it out. So
that is,
does seem like an important thing to communicate to contributors as well as outside users. I'm sure they'd be very excited.
We should control that messaging. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Ray.
Awesome. So Ray,
So
you're
that's
essentially part of this group now, but you're also making
Congrats.
do we need to assign someone else from the group to help with shepherding, or are you doing that?
I'll write the blog, then I'll bring
You're writing the blog.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want someone else to help you out with
yes,
making sure that it all gets done. Does anyone want to work with Ray on writing a blog post about a third-party security audit that's happening for the Kubernetes project?
And tweeting and getting the messaging out.
Yeah,
there.
kind of shepherding this.
You'll have all of our help when you're ready, but yeah.
Anyone feel
I can help with writing, but don't have the knowledge on cybersecurity much. So yeah, with specifics.
I
Not
think that's
necessary
probably a
for
good
this.
thing. Yeah.
You're doing so many things though. Are you comfortable picking up another campaign to shepherd?
I think Pritish was interested. So if he can
Are you
go,
interested, Pritish?
Yes, but I have the similar issue. I don't have any idea about
Okay.
cybersecurity and stuff.
I don't think anyone in this group has much cybersecurity knowledge. Well, I don't. Do you?
I do.
You
I
have
do.
everything, don't you? I feel like you
Yeah.
have a little of everything.
I have done cybersecurity work both for the public and private sector. I don't really tell a lot of people that, so I'm glad I'm mentioning that in this very public meeting. But
Hey.
yes, yeah, I've been in charge of IPSs and IDSs and all that fun stuff.
Okay, so writing into the notes that Pratish, you are owning this shepherding ask.
And if you want me to edit comment, just let me know.
Yeah, I will.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll ask for reviews, and especially like on the language that we use.
Mhm.
So we'll be checking in with you as this moves forward. And if you need any help anytime, reach out to any of us. We're happy to help. Awesome. Noted. Pratish has a new ask as well.
Okay, so in the last weekly marketing meeting, I heard a discussion on like the current tweet automation thingy is like has some what do I say?
Rough edges.
We can do, yeah. So uh, so I just wanted to know exactly what are the limitations we are facing right now, because recently I came across a tool called N18, and they have some like really good workflows, and you can also make your custom workflows. So I think we can do the like scheduling a tweet functionality, as well as like creating threads on Twitter.
What's
We
it called
could
again?
automate this. N8n.io. I have
Oh, I've
dropped
heard
the
of
link.
that.
There's a link in the notes. Is that one of the ones that you looked at while you were looking at new stuff?
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah, it's
dropped the link in the chat.
incredibly powerful, but to my knowledge, it's not a hosted solution, right? Like we have to host our own stuff.
Yeah. It has something on its. It has a desktop client too, like it's hosted.
So we would
Okay.
have to pay for it to use it as a hosted thing.
I have to like study about it more.
Yeah, sure. No,
Okay.
totally get
Yeah.
it.
But we would love it if you would look more into that. That's one thing that we've been discussing is there, the tweet automation that we chose for our existing GitHub repo where we automate creation of tweets was Twitter Together, because that was like the only solution that we could find at the time. But it has issues like Patricia was saying. One of the key issues there is that the way that we use Twitter Together, we cannot schedule tweets. It does have that functionality, but it doesn't work within the Kubernetes project because of the way that we require PRs from external branches and that process. It breaks the way that they implemented scheduling. So that's something that we've been hoping to fix, but none of us understand the Twitter Together automation that well. Rajula is most knowledgeable about it, who is actually on this call today.
There is cloud hosting for N8N, so
okay,
that's not a barrier to entry, right? Like setting up infrastructure.
Hosted service. I was in the middle of writing that and then started talking. But it is offered as a paid cloud hosted solution.
Yeah, there's no free tier.
So one thing that we were discussing, given the scheduling issue with Twitter Together, as well as some other things that are not on the top of my mind right now, was maybe we need to consider other solutions for our Twitter automation, same thing, right? So maybe this is an option for us to look deeper into. Excellent. Thank you so much, Pratish, for looking into this and finding this potential option. Okay, and there's a link in the chat for this is the fastest way to try it out. I'm going to note that. All right, how do we want to continue pursuing this? Pratish, do you want to continue looking into this? Do we need someone else from the team to do this try it out thing at this point to get a couple more eyes on it? What do we think is the task that needs to be done here?
Oh, it's about to get tried out.
Chris trying it out.
I mean,
Yeah, as of now, I'll do some more, a bit more research on this, like actually trying out, making a workflow and trying it out. So if I manage to do something, then I'll report it in the next meeting.
Awesome. And I know, Rajula had been working with Atarva a bit on our existing automation. I know, Atarva, you've been very interested in the automation, and we have been woefully unprepared to guide you on how to change it because we don't know ourselves. But this might be an
I've
area of
been
interest
trying
for you
to
as well.
look at different solutions,
Mm.
but yeah, this is new. The NET and automation thing. I'm looking into it as well now.
So you said that you've been looking at some other solutions as well. Has anything
Yeah,
been
but-
promising there so far?
No.
Okay.
all right. Well, that's
Thank you so much for doing that, though. It's very much
Yeah.
appreciated work. Even if it turns up nothing, it is very much appreciated.
yeah, somebody's got to check.
So Chris, Pratish, Atarva, maybe Rajula, you all just know that this is something that we're looking into. And if you want to look into it more, we would love to update this regularly as we try to find better solutions for our automation.
Yeah, I've got the desktop thing installed. We're going to figure this out today because I need something more robust than Zapier. So yeah.
I looked at Zapier too, but it doesn't show anything related to scheduling tweets.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so noted that we want to check up on that in the next meeting again as well, just to keep an eye on trying to figure out new automation. And then Debabrata, you had an issue here. Have we talked about it yet?
Actually, the issue was filed with Paris, and we had discussion in the bi-weekly meeting regarding this. And Paris wanted to update us in this upstream marketing meeting.
Oh, awesome.
It's basically regarding a mentorship coordinator role. So the thing we were
Right.
discussing about SIGs being unaware about the things, like Paris said that she wanted someone to handle throughout the life cycle of the program. Like some person from Kubernetes itself. Like now Ihor is doing it, so that's like more update. I think Paris would get what has been on.
That was a great summary. I just, for me, like, so it's right now the marketing sub-project ownership is, I think, me and Nikita, Josh Burkus, AK, we don't have enough people. And I was thinking of the things that we currently aren't doing a lot of or enough of, and one of them is like third-party mentorship opportunities, and I think it's for various reasons. So that's I was just kind of laying that out in the issue of like where I feel like this could be a role within the market, within the mentoring sub-project. I mean, it could even sit between both groups because obviously it definitely has a lot of outreach to it, but The other elements too are just more of the full life cycle of the intern. So like checking in on the interns and then maybe following up with them and making sure that they do blog posts and like stuff like that, right? Like that's that's what I'm envisioning sort of like as like a mentorship coordinator within contributor experience. Because yeah, like Linux Foundation runs LFX. So of course that's natural for Eeyore to help us out. And he's been wonderful. So that works, but like that, maybe this mentorship coordinator would work with Eeyore and also Google and also all of these other, outreachy and all of these other programs that are out there. And then really also stay on top of SIG leads with, getting them to get the word out about like how to scope out a project. I mean, really, that's I'm just envisioning this person just really honing in on all things third-party marketing. Or not marketing, I'm sorry, mentoring, wrong M word. But yeah, what do y'all think about that? Is that something that you think would be of value? Do you think that's a role that we could fill? What do y'all think?
I know that we've had some discussions on this area and that Depabrata has been very passionate about it. Granted, he's doing many things at the moment, but this sounds like something he might want to grow into.
Yes, W is doing a lot of things, y'all.
So the only doubt I had in this is like I thought CNCF handles all these things for us, like managing stuff, because all the CNCF projects they put it in the mentoring channel of the CNCF, like mostly during the cycle. So I didn't know like we require such roles basically, because I thought we just need to focus on the communication part, like reaching out to SIGs to let them send the proposal as a PR to the GitHub, CNCF mentoring GitHub. But I knew like we had to manage things. Like I thought like it was managed by CNCF. So I had only this doubt, like how much does the CNCF does and what is the scope of this whole mentorship coordinators?
Yep. I mean, so CNCF doesn't do anything for outreachy interns or Google Summer of Code interns. It's really only LFX. So like their program is targeted towards LFX, right? Or I think they do have like a channel for Google Summer of Code, things
Yes.
like that. But from an our community standpoint, if they're working on, say it's like a gateway API project and it's SIG network, right? It's not really CNCF. Like, let's onboard them into our community and, sort of have a buddy and also work with the SIG leads, because one of the hardest things to do is to get a SIG to actually give you an intern scoped thing, a role, right? So imagine just having a coordinator go to a SIG networking meeting and then ask there live in a meeting, hey, we have some internship opportunities coming up. Can you all scope out some roles? That's much more proactive than an email that's being sent to thousands of people, asking them to submit their thing that they might not read, that they're probably going to put off, that they're probably going to archive. So this person is way more proactive, way more like, buddy within the ginormous project that is Kubernetes. So yeah, that's kind of what CNCF's like LFX, and also they'll do, basic outreach for us to maintainers, as well as obviously pay the bill. So that's kind of their role. So I just feel like from a gap perspective, we have a lot of gaps for interns here. And that maybe this role could fill some of those gaps. Maybe, I don't know. So that's why I want to open for discussion.
For this cycle, I can try and help out with this, and let's see, because I am myself a mentor for one of the SIG ContribEx projects for this LFX cycle. So let me try out this time and let's see how it goes, because for GSOC it happens yearly once, but LFX really goes 3 times. And basically Outreachy is also going 2 times. And I think for this year, the project proposal time is over for Outreachy. Also, there is the GSOD. Like, I don't think we go for Google Summer of Docs anytime this things. So let's try it out. Let me reach out to people after this cycle is over. And for this cycle, the mentees that comes on board, I will try to make a roster and make some meetings, like take updates from them regarding what is happening and what's going on.
Yeah.
let's try this out.
Like I'm imagining you doing a table in the mentoring folder, and the table has all of the programs listed with their program documentation, as well as all of the dates, like key dates, like when we need to get our submissions in, when we need to solicit SIG leads, like all of that stuff. And then that, like, and then the coordinator is constantly just communicating based on, some of those kind of needs and things like that. And then that also, you can kind of keep track there of like SIG meetings and stuff that you're going to, sort of like a spreadsheet or something, right? I think that would be very organized, because that's one of the major things we're lacking right now, is just organization of these programs. Like I said, because people are just kind of like, oh, that's right, Google Summer of Code. Oh, let's do that. Oh, you know what I mean? So yeah, just get it a little bit more methodical, I think. And I think our results are going to improve because of that.
Oh, got it. Yeah. So we need a timeline for each of the programs, like when to reach out SIGs and all those things. Yeah, which we don't have with the programs. Okay, I'll try to make out a spreadsheet, and let's discuss it in the next meeting.
You're the best.
Awesome. Note written. So we'll check up on that again next week. And thank you so much, Deborah, for checking out this really important area. Mentorship is so important. And I know it's very important to you. So if you ever need help and you want to focus on that more, so you need to shift around what you're working on, just let us know and we will work it out. Always, all of you, encourage you to pursue what you like within the Kubernetes project. We want to enable you as contributors to find joy in your contributions. So, alrighty. So that's all of the things that we had in new items. Should we go back up to campaigns in progress? I mean, we kind of cover that in updates, but specific campaigns in progress that we check up on regularly. What do we have in here? Articles, steering committee. Yep, annual report. It's a good thing that we should talk about. And also release team support.
Did you see me just slide that in there? I was like,
yeah,
boop,
that
boop,
was
boop,
good.
boop.
Yeah, thank you for doing that. Do we have any updates? Because we've been talking about the annual report. Did we have any open asks that we've made progress on?
Nope, none right now. There's nothing right now. It's we have SIGs who are due to merge by March 1st, and then we go in, and then the steering committee goes into a draft process with the summary, and that's when we create the themes and all that other fun stuff. And then we hope to have a draft out to an editor. And the editor's TBD right now. We're going to ask SIG Docs. Celeste did it for us last year. Tim, unfortunately, is swamped, can't do it this year. So we're going to ask in a SIG Docs meeting. This is a very large task of an editor. So we'll see what we get. But I expect nothing to come down to contributor comms until I would say end of March. So 30 days or so. And then that's when we need to think about what tweets do we send, what information in this report is tweetable, what stories do we want to tell from it, because all of it is work that's done and work that's going on within the project, and raising that up to our employers and service vendors and potential contributors and stuff like that.
So that was 30 days or so until we need to start basically promoting this. Is that what?
Yep.
that
Pretty,
was? Okay.
yep. Pretty much. That's, I would say that's me being very nice, because I think it'll probably be 30 to 45.
Yeah. 30 to 45. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, just in case, everybody's actually, just in case we're actually on time for something, it'll be 30 days.
Like 4 to 6 more meetings of this group-ish.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that will be a big campaign for us that we need to do a lot of tweeting on and maybe help shepherd or write some blog posts about or something. We need to do a lot of promotion of this, sending messages out to the not KDev. Are we still calling it KDev?
Yeah, I know. It's just, I think it's just a community
such a good
habit
point.
at this point.
It's just called that. That's its name.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, because it's technically now just dev at. So
So KDev still works. It's just backwards. It's not dev K.
Do
I don't wanna
we,
call it
as the
Dev
upstream
K.
marketing team, need to market a new name for
Right.
the email internally with contributors?
Yikes.
This is what we now call our email list. I'm calling
Any
it
messages
not
that
KDev
needs
in
to be
minutes.
sent out to the SIGs?
So actually, do we have an ask to send stuff to the SIGs? Because we had discussed that before, that we may need to ping SIGs.
SIGs and TL email. Is that still a thing, Paris?
it is not a thing anymore.
Okay.
No,
Good.
no.
Should we be reaching out to them for
No.
stuff though? Okay.
No.
Because we discussed a need to use the Slack bot to ping in SIG channels and say, make sure that you've got your stuff ready for the.
Yeah,
annual
don't worry
report.
about that. Yeah, don't
But we're
worry
good on
about
that?
that right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you know if anything like that comes down the pipeline. But right now, I feel like everybody's in a decent place.
Mhm.
So yeah, no worries about that.
Okay. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Atarva, for bringing that up.
Yes, and I also put together like my brain dump of here's the repo to do what, like that doc needs to somehow end up in our repo. I feel like.
Also, we only have a minute left.
Yeah, so I just want to get that out there. But we talked about it last meeting, and I realized it's still in a Google Doc, not on a GitHub.
Sorry, what
page.
was that that's in a Google Doc? You need to write that
The
down.
remember the admin stuff that
Yes,
I was like,
for
let
the
me-
contributor comms
yes,
hashtag. Okay. Or at.
right
At
for
contributor
like
comms.
the bots, the Twitterings and everything else. Yeah, that all needs to end up in a doc still.
Mm. Wait, you have it in like a personal doc and you need it in a.
Yeah,
More visible
I
doc?
shared it with you.
Okay. Oh yes, that
The
stuff.
contrib
That one.
comes admin know-how doc. Yeah. I need to convert that, or someone needs to convert that into Google or
Into GitHub.
GitHub Docs. Yes. Jesus Louise, which service am I using today?
Awesome. So we're at time. I did want to ask, I guess Ray might have already dropped out. No, you're still here. I was wondering if there's anything else in particular that we should talk about in terms of release team support. And I figured you'd be the best person to ask, Ray, but also anyone else.
Yeah, I haven't had much time to work on this one. I think, is it Deba who's assigned to it as well?
Did we have an ask here? I was just asking in
Uh,
general, what are we doing with release team support?
We don't have much on the com side for release team now. We are working on the deprecations and removal blog, and we are like that's the update for now. Like we don't have much on the plate now, and we are helping with the blogs like Docker sim deprecation, like removal blogs. So some of the blogs, Cat is writing some, and
Because
I'm writing.
Sorry, y'all. Oh my God, I thought it was on mute. I apologize, Deba.
Yeah, it happens.
So you're a
So-
shadow right now, right? So
Yeah.
this is how you get this. So no particular asks right now, and nothing,
No.
nothing in particular that you see coming down the pipeline, or
I think in March, as the blog posts starts coming out, we need to tweet them out. So that's
Okay.
it. I could see it as like last week of March, most of the blog posts. And also now some of the blog posts are getting out, like Krish worked on the FAQ update, and some minor updates on the existing blogs are going on. So, yeah.
yeah.
Would
Release
expect some of it.
1.24 is going to be a huge deal, and we definitely need to do a lot of promotion of it. So
How about the blog posts about interviewing the emeritus advisors on like what to do when to get rejected, or if you get rejected from shadow program, like these are other ways to contribute.
Yeah, so that was scheduled in the April month, like as soon as we get the release done, or just before the release, so that the shadow applications goes out, and during that time we get this plug out. So I had added that in the project board and got the tentative date. So we'll be starting it, during the month of April.
Nice.
Right, that's kind of genius. Can you repeat that one more time? Because like, I think that is really genius. I honestly, like, I think the thing we have with the release team is so much interest, right? And then nothing to harness, right? Back down.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks. That
yes.
was
Yeah, way to go. All right, I'm gonna get back on mute. I promise.
I'm glad you're so excited about it though. Yeah, so scheduling it for April makes a lot of sense though. We've been talking about the need for this. Well, it started with we need some way to direct rejected shadows to other ways they can contribute in the community. And then last week we talked about this idea of interviewing the release lead and emeritus release lead about their options and writing a blog post on it. So scheduling that for April makes a lot of sense. Thank you, Deborah. And
it's in the project board. So anytime you want. So,
God, that is so good, y'all. I'm so proud of you. This is my proud moment right now. Oh my God.
Happy Friday, Paris.
I know, right? I'm so proud of y'all right now. Yeah, like I'm almost thinking too, like, do y'all do exit interviews? I know, and that's a I don't.
It's like a terrible idea, but
I don't. It's
term,
like
but
it's a terrible term, but like, I almost. Do you do that kind of stuff, right?
They do shadow surveys, which almost we have very low turnout for in people who do shadows, who do those surveys. The exit survey. And that's kind of our way. And we do have like kind of exit interview questions in there. Yeah, but we haven't in the past few releases, we just don't have that many people doing these surveys. So I don't know how we could
there's not good data there.
It's not great data. And like I could ping as many times as I can, but we just don't get the participation in the survey.
I know
I've done it myself and it's not that bad.
I was a shadow last time and I don't remember the survey at all.
I was about to say, I don't recall getting a survey when I was a shadow, but
so
I think it goes into spam. I don't think I think the emails are, I've had that people ask me that too. I think the emails are coming through.
Do you not have DChem and SPF and DMARC set up for our domain?
I would have noticed it if it went into the like chat that we were using to coordinate release comms stuff for that release, but I don't think it was posted there.
I don't know. I don't remember where it was posted. Usually the emeritus advisor does all the surveys and that person.
I'm just wondering, like,
ping out. Yeah.
We could market the fact that there's a survey at the end and your data matters because we're going to do a blog post, right?
Right. Yes.
We could start saying that now, like,
or like swag incentives.
Yeah, even though it's for totally like a sub group of the community, I think there's stuff we can do to promote that.
Yeah, like, or like everybody does it at the after party, like silently. Like, hey,
please join 15 minutes early to do the survey.
Oh
yeah. I don't even work at Amazon, and that was very Amazonian things for me to say. I know. Yeah, because I always thought that would be a really great place to hook folks to, like, hook them onto the fact that, like, yeah, you see that there's other thing after you've done the release. Now you see that, contributors are everywhere, and we need you. Like, we need you.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to write a tweet that's like, if you're a member of the release team, please watch out for.
Yeah, totally.
For the end of release cycle.
Hell yeah.
Survey.
We could tweet that every week in some variation.
Oh my God, no, Chris, cadence. No. All right. I'm definitely
Do
going to
your
mute now.
survey.
Awesome. Written. Now all I have to do is make a PR.
Nice.
I'm going to try and do that because making PRs is hard for me and I should practice.
Let me know if you need help.
All righty. Messing up tweet PRs. That's a thing that I do. And we're 7 minutes over. So I
All
think
right,
we
y'all.
covered a good amount of stuff today. Thank you so, so much, everyone, for all of your hard work and for sticking with us as we go through all of this stuff. And we'll go ahead and stop our recording.